Well, hello, everybody. My name is Tanya Reynolds. I am the proud program director for Learning for Success, where we are basically in the business of trying to bring you guys good information in the areas of career development, workplace skills, and leadership. And I'm very happy to introduce to you Greg Williams, who is the Chief of Staff and Public Relations Manager at the City of North Miami Beach for the last 18 years. Hi, Greg.
Hey, how you doing, Tanya?
Very good. Greg previously served as a district manager for KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut for the last 19 years, managing 12 restaurants. He's married for 41 years, has 5 children, has a bachelor's in organizational leadership, and is currently working on his master's in divinity. So we're very happy to have Greg. I've known him for the last 10 years, and every time I speak to Greg, I just get some inspiration, some motivation. He has high energy, very positive, excellent work ethic. There's so much you can learn from Greg, and it's just an honor and a privilege to have Greg here with you to share what he has learned over the past year. So let's go right into it, Greg.
Thank you,
So
Tanya.
so I know that, many years ago, the Greg Williams that we have today has been an evolving or a revolution of the Greg Williams that you were at, 8 years old, 7 years old. And at that time, you witnessed some pretty incredible things. You went through some hardship and you went through some trauma. And that, I think, has set the stage or the foundation for the leader that you are today, because out of that trauma, you overcame. Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Absolutely. First of all, Tanya, thank you for this opportunity to allow me to share my story and to encourage so many youngsters out there. Yes, as a child, I went through some physical abuse from my stepdad. It was very difficult. It was difficult for me and also my mother. There was times that I just wanted to give up and I didn't think I wanted to live any longer. But somehow or another, I persevered. I kind of pushed through it. It was very, very difficult times. And it's just the grace of God that I'm here today. And so I look to many of my relatives and family members that kind of gave me strength and hope and would talk to me and encourage me and that family, the outside family who kind of knew what I was going through, they kind of nurtured me through. And my mother, she did
Mhm.
the very best she can, even
Mhm.
though she was going through the same thing.
So I know that, one of the things that really motivates you, you had said to me, is your family, your wife and your children. And I feel like, what you had gone through in the past and that you overcame it and you are stronger today for it tells me that those scars that you had at such a tender age, you've worked really hard to heal those scars. Talk about the healing process that you went through.
Well, the healing process was just, I would look at each day as a gift. And I, I think what really got me healed was my faith and just faith in God, faith in myself, um, knowing that. And then I had family members again. I have a loving family now, but my aunties and uncles who endured with me and encouraged me, and they, I just had a sheer will to that I know greater things are going to come for me, and I would constantly um, I was praying and asking the Lord to be with me. And even to this day, when I look at my children and my family, I would never want them to go through the trauma that I experienced. And that's why I think I value my wife and my children so
Mhm.
much, because they have no they know the pain that I went through, but it helps me to really, really value them. And I've been married, as you know, for 42 years, and I have 5 loving children, and my youngest child she just turned 33. I took her to dinner the other day, and they've never experienced no such type of trauma that I've been through, and they consider me a great dad. And I think I learned how to be a great dad through a lot of the pain I've experienced.
That's amazing. So let's fast forward in time to your first job. Fun fact about Greg is that he is, he is a minister. He does work with the city of North Miami Beach. He's very, very well accomplished, but he has another side to him where he was a DJ back in the day, and his name was. You want to say what your name was, Greg?
I was DJ Pleasure.
Yes, in Long Island, New York, you're saying you were very famous back
Yes.
in the day, and you were presented a legacy award for what you did. Talk about that, DJ Pleasure, and how DJ Pleasure back in the days in the 1970s, 1976, how changed from that life to becoming a minister, and even your transition into corporate.
Well, being a DJ and listening to music, as I said, I used to go with my aunts and and when I used to go away to my aunts and family and getting away from my stepdad, and my mother used to leave, we used to hear music all the time. And music was my passport. It was the melody of life. It gave me hope. And there was a certain connection that, there was a gift within me to be able to play music. And I think when I heard the music, it stirred up the gift and the whole mechanics. And psychologically, it gave me hope. It gave me inspiration that I can do something, and I can channel all of my pain into my music. And the joy was seeing other people excited. And it took me away from my pain, because I became the engineer, or the ambassador to bring joy into the room, and there was excitement. And so that was DJ Pleasure. And when I got into college, I was the DJ there at the college campus. And I moved. My wife and we met at college in Long Island, New York. We got married and moved down here. My mother, who's separated from my dad and divorced, she moved down here. We moved right after her, and we came down, and we got married one day in July 21st. 1979. A week later, we're down here in South Florida. I'm thinking when I came down here to South Florida, I'm DJ Pleasure in Long Island, playing for the record pools, playing in Rockefeller Center, playing and the big productions all over, very famous in New York. I'm going to come to South Florida. I'm going to blow up, because down here, they're country. They don't have the special mixes. I'm from Long Island, New York. I knew that I could come down. Well, I did. But God had a different agenda for me. I didn't stop dancing. I just changed partners. And my new partner became the Lord. And I gave my life to the Lord. I let go of my music. As they say, you can take the music away from the person, but you can't take the music out of the person. The music was still in me, but I had to set my priorities, and my priorities became God. And I became a minister, and I began to minister, and I came into the church, and I grew in the church. I was just a member, and I was learning brotherhood, then became a deacon, and later on became a minister, and later on became a pastor, which I am now. And I've been pastoring for 30 years. As of this year, I'll be 30 years pastoring the same church that I started with 50 people in my house. Keep in mind, while I was doing all of this, I was still working a job. I was bivocational. I was working in the supermarket retail industry. My very first job in the retail was right down the street from where I'm at right now in North Miami Beach. It was called Stevie Wonder's Supermarket. And I was a front end manager there, a bag boy, and I did it all. Then I matriculated into Circle K, and I did Circle K or You Told 'em for about 2 years while I was still going to school and in the church. But I wasn't a pastor now. I didn't become the pastor until 1991. And at that time, even before I became a pastor, I moved from Circle K, and then I got in. I was working for a company called Bogarts, and then after Bogarts, let me flip it. It was Bogarts, then Circle K, then went to KFC in 1984. And I stayed in
Wonderful.
KFC for 19 years, and I ran a lot of restaurants, KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, eating a lot of pizza, eating a lot of chicken, and visiting a lot of stores, drinking a lot of sodas. It was exciting. Opening up 2-in-1 restaurants, that was the job of my life. I won awards, many awards. I won President's Awards on 2 occasions. I only won a president, I won America's Best and Brightest Business Award through Dollars and Cents magazine. My wife and I, we traveled the country. But the job was very demanding. But I enjoyed it. Had a company car every 2 years. I was in college, but I didn't finish college, didn't have a degree until I came to the city. I came in the city of North Miami Beach, where I'm at currently right now. And I've been in the city since 2003. And I'm still pastoring during the same time, pastoring for 30 years. Been in the city for 18 years as of now. When I
Yeah.
first came to the city of North Miami Beach, I had some exciting times.
So
And
I think what I like, what I'm hearing from you is that you were able to channel your pain, back then, and you were able to be almost morph into a different person. And what the message I'm getting is that the person you are today does not necessarily mean that you're going to be the same person tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years from now, especially if people are, coming out of hardship or living through hardship or, dealing with trauma. There's stories that are undocumented. Kids and young people are dealing with things, especially at a time like this, where they are feeling a lot of loss, a lot of despair. And you had
mm,
said that there were days that you felt like you didn't want to see another day,
right.
but the Greg Williams that you were and you are today, you persevered, and you channeled that energy into something positive, which is, I think, the core of who you are. Very positive, very high energy. So let's talk a little bit about your days at KFC. You had said you were in a meeting and you experienced at many different points in your life racism, prejudice, bias, and stereotype. But there was one particular event that brought you to tears. Talk about that for a little bit.
I was, as I said, back in 1985, 84, I started with KFC. But 85 is when my career really launched out because I became a multi-unit operator I became a mini manager, market manager, and district manager. And I was sitting in the boardroom, and I was the only black person who was in the room. And my boss, who was of another culture and another ethnicity, he said these words. He said, and I think he was meaning it as a joke, but it was very hurtful. He said the worst thing that Abraham Lincoln did was free the slaves. And when I heard it, I was so stunned and so shocked. And I think I was shocked because of the respect level that I had for him. And I think the other thing, the embarrassment of what he said, and me being the only Afro American or the only black person in the room. I got up, I went into the bed, I tried to channel my pain in a private area because I didn't want to, I didn't want to. I was ashamed and I was hurt and I didn't feel comfortable. So I went in the bathroom and I cried a little bit. And somebody said men ought not to cry. I think that's part of the problem. So you sometimes have to shed tears
Mm.
and show the softer side, and I think that's part of development. I came back into the boardroom. I kept my spirit up. I kept it together. And later on, because of patience and perseverance and my good performance, I had an opportunity to address that with that same manager, regional manager. He ended up losing his job, not because of me, but because of so many other things that he did, that kind of tied into the person that he was, and
Mhm.
he ended up being on the outside looking in. They end up
Mm.
letting him go. There was an investigation years later, And that same thing that he did with me came up, but he had did it with other people. Sexual harassment with women, talking abusively with people,
Mm,
not treating employees well. But they also brought me in and they wanted to know my experience.
mm.
And I had the platform to share because he never did apologize. He never did make it right. And
Wow.
it was always a leery and uncomfortable feeling.
Mhm. Okay, that's, and of course, and you had mentioned that you see this still happening in different shapes and different forms. It doesn't end, it doesn't stop. But I think you said that, the nothing could dim your flame. And those three P's you talk about, patience, perseverance, and being a top performer, helped you and still continues to help you push past this racism that you're still experiencing today, right?
Exactly. Yes. The patience that I have, I look back over my life. I'm so excited that um, I, when I heard it, I could have reacted. I could have said some very hostile words to him, but I channeled. I kind of took a back seat and I wanted to really choose my battle because this is a big opportunity for me. I didn't know this is a high powered guy. They can fire you at will. And so the laws at that time, they were not as tough as they are now. So I knew where I was at. I needed to choose the time when I would get and it took patience, it took perseverance,
Mm,
but most importantly, he could never really bothered me in terms of getting rid of me because my performance never changed. And that's the key piece. I kept my attitude, I kept the fire burning, I kept giving my best, I brought my A game every day.
mm, mm. I love that. I just love that. And I think that is something that we need to remember, despite what's going on in our lives,
Yes.
whether it's in school or in work or in family.
Hmm.
You bring your A game, you be that top performer, not just for yourself, but also for the others around you, right? So it feels like, and it seems like, Greg Williams has kind of shattered a couple of glass ceilings. Glass ceilings are there, and it really is up to us to break through those ceilings,
Yeah.
regardless. Talk about the glass ceilings in your life that you've had to break through. You mentioned that there were, when you were in corporate, layoffs was a constant or a threat,
Right.
and you have never been laid off from a job,
Mm-mm.
which and you continue to push through,
Mhm.
persevere, be a top performer, be patient, and you never were laid off, and you broke many ceilings in the process. Talk about that.
Well, I had to eradicate or to tear down the glass ceiling and the stereotypical stereotype on the Afro American. African American males, we were stereotyped as lazy,
Mm,
uh, uh, stereotype of being dishonest,
mm,
and so I was a go getter. Um, they stereotyped us as hostile, not friendly, but I knew how to smile. I knew how to show myself friendly. I knew
mm,
how to walk in a room and own the room. Those are the gifts that I had, and those gifts that God gave me. There's a scripture that says, um, you know, your gift will make room for you and put you in the presence of great people. I took that to heart. And
mm,
so my gift was my personality. I knew that I had a personality that was, I'm an extrovert. I'm a very open. I like people and I showed it. I love to smile and I love to just be, I love people. And so I took advantage of that. And so the glass ceiling of laziness or hostile or someone that was dishonest, all those glass ceilings I shattered because I was a go-getter. I was high energy. I worked beyond. I would get up early and work late. I got to tell you a quick story. At one time, we were out of town, and we were having a breakout meeting out of one. We was in a different state, someplace, and there was one time I got up late for the meeting. It was a 7 o'clock meeting, and most of my counterparts were there, and they made fun of me.
Mm.
And I noticed at times they were late and nobody said anything. But that one time that I was late, they never stopped talking about it. From that point on, I never, ever, ever was late again. I would always beat them there. And so I knew that the image or the stereotype or the, how they looked at me was different than how they saw other people. And so I had to make sure that I brought my A game, that I was on time, that I was punctual, that I kept a good attitude, and that I was honest. Those things were those are glass ceilings that needed to be, because when a black man walks inside Macy's, and let's say I'm in there and I have jeans on, and you can always feel like somebody's watching you. Or if you walk by someone with a pocketbook or something, they put the pocketbook on the other side. And I've experienced that. It doesn't happen as much if I have a suit on. And by the way, wearing a suit was important to me because I always wanted to project myself as a positive role model. So ties to me was important. I can tell you another story. I was with one of the senior vice presidents of KFC, and we went to Joe's Stone Crab. And most of my peers that was there, I think I was the only black, and there's about 6 or 7 other market managers that were there. And the senior vice president came down. He was a black guy. We all ordered lobster, Joe's Stone Crab, but he ordered fried chicken. Now, we worked for a chicken, and we thought it was weird. We thought it was real weird. But he ordered fried chicken, and he was very conservative. But he whispered to me when we were all sitting down. He said, I noticed you got a tie on. He said, you need to always wear a tie. And I didn't really understand what he really meant, but he was saying something to me. Late on that night, I went in the room and I told my counterparts, I said, the senior vice president told me that I need to always wear a tie. And they got mad. And they told the boss and said, he told Greg to wear a tie all the time. The boss wrote us email out. You don't have to wear ties. You can just wear your open polo shirts. But to this day, I still wear a tie. And this tie and dressing dressing for success every day has pole vaulted me to the position that I'm in right now. I'm the chief of staff for the city of North Miami Beach. I'm in charge of public affairs, which I am the face for the city of North Miami Beach. When I walk around with the mayor and the commissioners and the city managers, they take pride in the fact that Greg Williams is our chief of staff.
And Greg Williams wears a tie.
Yes, wears a tie, because you have to dress for your next position.
For sure. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have said everything that comes out of your mouth is just so inspiring. I want you to just sort of wrap that up in a nice package and encourage our young people. What would you say to our young people today, in terms of helping them find their dream, find their purpose? Many children, many kids, young people, young adults that I've spoken to don't know what they want to be when they grow up. They have no pathway to success. They have no plan for the future. And they're kind of just going with the flow, which is not a plan. Talk about, give some positive, words of encouragement to our young people, especially those kids and those young adults that don't want to see another day. They don't want to wake up to another day, and they want to drop out of school because they feel like a failure today. And so they feel like failure is their destiny. What does Greg Williams have to say to someone like that?
Well, failure is not an option. Okay. I want them to hear this, that number one, you have to have faith in the Almighty. There's a scripture that says in Matthew 6:33, I am a minister, so please understand that seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else comes to you. And it also says, for we walk by faith and not by sight. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So first of all, we need to believe in the Almighty. And he says, when we believe him, he'll give us the desires of our hearts, our dreams, our ambitions, our hopes, and our goal. Believe in him. And not only believe in him, watch this, because there's a lot of people believe, but they don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
This, you have to believe in you. A lot of times you'll have naysayers around you. You'll have a lot of air pollution, a lot of voice pollution. People tell you you can't. I'm here to tell you you can.
Yeah.
You can do all things. And I oftentimes tell people, if you think you can, you can.
You will.
If you think you can't, you're right, you
Can.
can't. So it's how you think in your mind. And so I want you to always continue to think on a few things. I want to encourage you to, in spite of all the difficulties and the challenges, never give up. Never give up on yourself. In spite of the difficult times, never give up on your family. Never give up on your future. Know that you can make it. Never give up, never give in, never give out. And finally, I want to say this: stay focused, stay faithful, and stay fruitful. What do you mean, Greg? Okay, stay focused on what the task that you're having at. Stay focused on your education. Stay focused on your learning. Stay focused on your reading. Stay focused on your goals. Stay faithful. Stay faithful to your faith. Believe in something greater than yourself. And very important, I told you guys I can walk in a room and light up a room, that I have a positive attitude. Stay fruitful. Other words, be friendly to people. People don't like to be around people who are always angry or look like they're sucking lemons. You have to smile. And whenever you smile, you make the whole room smile. So your kind words, your friendliness, your peaceful mannerism, thank you, yes, please, I apologize, I'm sorry, can I help you, excuse me.
That's wonderful.
All of those things make a difference. And we call those things kindergarten courtesy. Just basic mannerisms. It'll take you a long way.
I feel like I want to break out into an applause and stand up and give you a standing ovation. All right. Well, okay. So, we have a couple more minutes, but
I love it.
Kapow has been very near and dear to your heart. Our organization, Learning for Success, has been very important to you. With, everything going on, your busy schedule with all of what you do. Whenever I speak to you about the program, about, you serving the kids at Fulford Elementary in North Miami Beach, Bridge Prep North Miami Beach, you are always so positive, and you will always say to me, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Don't worry, I got this. We'll get it done. Why is Kapow so important to you? And more specifically, the youth, the young people in your community and all around. Why is this passion so important to Greg?
Because Kapow, um, God has given me so much, okay? And for much, and if you look at my tagline on my emails, it'll say, for much is given, much is required.
Mm.
God has brought me a mighty long way from where I came from to where I am now. I have to give back. And I have to give back to children who, when I look through my lens and into their eyes, I can see the same pain. Some of them may suffer through the same pain. And so hopefully I can be a guardian or a parent or a mentor or an encourager or a light of hope or a glimmer of light that can somewhat speak to their hearts. Oftentimes, Tanya, because of Kapow, the kids in the power work, I see some of these same children inside Publix, in Walmart, inside the malls. And they say, hi, Mr. Williams, you came to my class. And they made my year. And a lot of times It's kids that I was with them in the second grade, and now they're on their way, because I've been in the city so long. Some of them are on their way to become seniors in high school and getting ready to go to their first year of college. But I feel good because I've made an impression. There's often been a saying that children, they're like wet cement. They have to make a good impression. And uh, maybe my dress, my smile, uh, my assignments, or the little uh, games that we played, or workshops that we've done, exercise we've done in their classes. Maybe it's something that helps shape their lives. And therein lies my responsibility to
Mm,
give back what God has so graciously given me.
well said. Couldn't have said it any better than that. So,
Mhm.
with that, we'll leave it there. You have been so inspiring, so encouraging. I consider you, a friend, a brother, someone that is just always there, willing to support, will never say no. And I walked away with a couple of nuggets myself. So, stay focused, stay fruitful, never give up, never give in, and never give up, never give in. And there was one more.
And never give out.
Never give out.
Stay
Yes. And
focused,
then
stay faithful, stay fruitful.
that's
Focused,
right.
faithful, and fruitful.
And be patient, persevere, and be a top performer.
Yes. Yeah.
Can't lose with that.
One other
Well,
thing I want to give you, one that's called the pie theory. And this is for, and I learned this from Mr. T. Holloway. You probably know T. Holloway, an executive for, retired executive for Bell South. I love him. Great man of God. He said, Greg, keep the pie theory. And is this performance, uh, image, and exposure.
very good.
Perform
Well,
real well. And I want to give him credit. I could have said I made that up, but why do that? That's dishonesty.
ah,
Perform well. Keep a positive image. You look good, look sharp. Bring your A game every day. Don't take it for granted. Don't try to follow the crowd. Be a trailblazer.
mm,
And most important, exposure. Expose yourself.
mhm.
And so try to be network, meet people, greet people, be friendly. The more friendly you are, the more people want to bring you into the
Amen.
room.
Thank you so much, Greg. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure. I hope
It's
you
been an
guys
honor.
learned something. We will see you next time at the next installment
Yes.
for Learning for Success. But Greg, you have been a rock star this whole time.
Pray for
We
me.
want to, and you the same for us. We want to encourage you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I will see you next time for the next installment of Learning from Success. Take care.
Yay!
Yay. Thank you.